Hello and welcome to Primetime Pastimes, the podcast where we talk to people in the wrestling space about their passions outside of wrestling. I'm one of your hosts, Steve, along as always with my other host, Gav. Say hello, Gav.
Hello. I feel a bit beard deficient today, but
Don't worry, kid, it will grow on you. Well, Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines. Our guest today does quite a lot of things in the world of professional wrestling. Cowabunga, all the way from Dimension X, is the infamous DJ King. How are you, sir?
That is going to go down in history as my absolute all-time favorite intro on any podcast I've ever done. I might just not do anymore because no one's going to top that. That was incredible. Thank you so much for that, Steve.
What do you expect? Something about sewers?
Oh, there we go. He was that shocked, he's disappeared.
What a knockout.
I do apologise. That was so good, my phone fell over.
I get that all the time. So, DJ...
Is your phone plugged in today?
Oh, yeah, is it plugged in?
No, but it's fully charged.
Hey!
Just like me. Way. Right. So, DJ, tell us who you are, what you do in wrestling, and how you got into wrestling.
My name is the infamous DJ King. I am currently a promoter and colour commentator in British wrestling. I have been involved in some capacity in British wrestling for the last 20 years. I started out as a wrestler, moved into booking and management, and then moved into commentary, and now have spent the last 3+ years working on my own passion project, my own promotion, which is Infamous Wrestling.
Fantastic. So let's go back even further to that. When was the first time you saw professional wrestling, and what was it about professional wrestling that thought, this might be for me?
My earliest memory, of professional wrestling was my granddad. He used to tape the pay-per-views off Sky Sports. And then anytime I'd visit, he'd be like, come on, son, we're going to watch this. And I remember the first thing I ever remember watching was WrestleMania 8.
Excellent.
So, first match I ever saw was Shawn Michaels versus Tito Santana. And honest to God, that was it. I was ready then. I was like, whoa, what is this? This is incredible. At that show, there was so much about that show that it gripped me straight away. And as a kid, I remember every time I'd be around at my granddad's, he'd have another video for me. I don't know how my granddad, this at the time 40-odd-year-old man, was into tape trading at the time. Like he definitely was keeping it on the quiet. Nobody knew, but he had all these videos of all these like WWE pay-per-views that were like even some from before I was born. I was sitting there and I was just engrossed in them, and that was it. And then I remember I fell off from wrestling for a bit because we just weren't watching it.
Everyone does.
Yeah, it fell off. And then I remember as a kid getting my own cable box in my bedroom. And I remember one night watching Cartoon Network on a Friday. And Cartoon Network finished and TNT started and Nitro came on. And I was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Wrestling? I haven't seen this for years. And then again, we switched from cable to Sky, got WWE back and was like, right, okay, Attitude Era, cool. And that was it. I've been hooked ever since.
So obviously we've honed in on the Attitude Era there. Did you flick back and forth between Nitro and Raw, or were you Team Raw or Team Nitro?
To be honest, I started out obviously with Nitro before the Attitude Era. Like literally, I started watching Nitro maybe 2-3 weeks into the NWO starting.
Not yet.
So I was along for that ride.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, it wasn't even my choice. My mum was like, right, we're getting rid of cable because we've got a good deal on Sky. And it was like, oh, well, we don't get TNT with cable. Yeah, but you get Sky Sports, and Sky Sports is where WWF is. And I remember it was literally, again, my granddad out of the blue, out of nowhere, messages me, calls me up. I've got a video. I've just taped the WrestleMania.
Brilliant.
And it was WrestleMania 14.
Mm-hmm.
So the birth of Austin as a main event guy. And I remember watching that one again over and over and over. There were so many matches. the dumpster match between the New Age Outlaws and Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite, like, peak Attitude Era matches, and it's not even technically in the Attitude Era because it doesn't start till the next.
No, just prior. Well, they've never like properly drawn the battle lines for the Attitude Era, though, have they? So, because I think it was kind of late 1995 is when we started properly getting Attitude. Before they started coming out with the commercials saying "Attitude, pal" and all that lot.
It was the back end of the new generation. I think Brett's heel turn. I think a lot of people forget that Brett's heel turn is probably one of the biggest precursors because I'd always been a babyface, like no matter what he like as soon as he went solo, he was babyface through and through. So it was like a big precursor, and no one seems to ever really mention it because obviously at that time you had Austin, you had DX, and that they were the two big factors in the Attitude Era, and then maybe even as well the Undertaker Kane thing.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have that though without the 1997 Heart Foundation, in my opinion. And Steve Austin was turning around that time as well. It wasn't just King of the Ring '96. He was getting up there and being a rambunctious little fellow far before people really talk about it.
Yeah, do you know what? It's mad as well. Like when you look back at that Heart Foundation, like the talent in that group.
Oh yeah,
like the only one even at that point you could say was any like a bum steer would have been Neihard, and that was because he was the oldest of the group and he was carrying more timber than anyone else.
You know, for a second I thought you were going to say Brian Pillman, and I was like, "Don't say Brian Pillman."
No,
don't say
because
Brian Pillman.
Because what Brian Pillman lacked in his physical ability when he got to WWE, he more than made up for in his character work and personality. So.
Yeah, 100%.
The complete psychotic gun shit.
So what element?
The psychotic gun shit was just nuts.
It got people talking, and that was what they wanted. You know, Vince had to apologise the week after, but it didn't matter. People were already talking about it.
And this is all before the quote Attitude Era started, so you got to bear that in mind. An Attitude Era is whatever it is in your heart, in my opinion. So, what elements from the Attitude Era and Nitro did you carry across into your own career?
I've never personally felt I had like a wrestler's body type, so I took a lot of inspiration from the likes of Mick Foley. And if you want to go on the other side as well, Diamond Dallas Page. Because even though DDP did look like a wrestler, they harped on about how old he was all the time. Like, he started way late, started in his 40s. It's like, in his 40s, you're messing. It's nothing nowadays. Like, but they made such a big deal out of it. And I remember looking at them and being like, if they can do this, I reckon I can probably have a stab at it. And that was it. The rest is history then.
So when you started sort of going into, let's say, promoting first, before we talk about color commentary, what elements did you bring across in promoting? Because the Attitude Era gets a lot of stick for being hotshot booking and swerves every week, but I don't think you really have that in some of the promotions that you've worked with.
No, see, I will say one of the things I did take from that era is factions. I love a good faction. I think factions can do you can do so much with a faction, and it's such a simple premise, but it works constantly. So that was my biggest takeaway from the Attitude Era / the NWO era, was that you can do, like, there's right ways to do a faction, and then there's wrong ways to do a faction. And I think I learned all that from the Attitude Era, and then put that into play quite a lot over the years, like booking a BWP, and then obviously now booking from my own promotion as well.
So, talking about factions, are you of the mindset that a faction exists to build up one individual star, or do you think you can have multiple people rotating in and out like the Japanese style?
I think it can work both ways. I think a faction shouldn't be about building up one particular person, not all the time. I get it, it works with some people, and it has, like, obviously, like, the Horseman was always around about protecting Flair, but the Horseman is also evidence that it raises the stature of everyone in the group, and that's what a faction should do. Even if the focus is on one person, the intent should be that everyone's profile in that group rises.
I'm glad you mentioned the Four Horsemen, because I assume that Steve Mongo McMichael was a particular hero for you for the commentary side of things as well, right?
The day that someone lets me bring a tiny dog to ringside, and let's just let me sit there holding a tiny dog while talking absolute nonsense, I'll have made it then. I will genuinely feel like I've made it. I'll be ready to fight fucking Goldberg, mate. I will be happy.
There's still time. So let's talk about your influences real quick before we wrap this up. What do you take away from commentary from the Attitude Era and other influences? What do you try and bring to the commentary desk and your performance?
If there's anyone that was inspirational in that era, I would honestly say it was Joey Styles in ECW when he was rocking solo, because he could carry a whole show on his own and it was seamless. And honestly, Heyman's run with JR.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Heyman's heel run with JR on commentary is so underrated. Like, nobody talks about how good it was. He was fantastic, and he cut to the bone on certain things as well. And like, obviously, like, you hear now that he got told off and he got in trouble for stuff like that, but it was fantastic. It was good TV.
It's a shame that he wasn't a commentator for much longer, to be honest, because he really did gel well with JR in ways other people of that time didn't. But that's enough wrestling. We've gone on about wrestling too much. Let's not be shellfish.
Before you go with the wrestling, can I just clarify something that DJ's just got wrong?
Go on.
You have not been a promoter for 3 years. A week ago today, it is 4 years since the first Infamous.
And it's back, baby.
Happy 4-year anniversary. And speaking of 4th, join us on the 4th of July. Promote. But anyway, no more wrestling. Let's talk about fun stuff.
I'm holding up a Four Horsemen sign and nobody's joining me, and I feel, here we go.
I hadn't seen you. If I'd seen you, I'd have been all over it.
That's fine. Don't worry. Anyway, I made an incredible pun, which I will just repeat. He said, let's not be shellfish. There you go. So anyway, no more puns from me. Let's kick it into another gear as we talk about the 80s phenomenon. They're the world's most fearsome fighting team. They're heroes in the half shell, and they're green. They are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah!
We got stick, though, for years. It was Hero Turtles. We never got
We'll get there. We'll get there, Gav. We'll talk about it. Don't you worry. Much like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I really enjoy a piece of factual information. So let's talk about our facts right now. So initially created by Eastman and Peter Laird in 1984 as a joke doodle, the characters developed into their own comic with ties to Marvel's Daredevil. The writers imagined the same ooze that got into the eyes of Matt Murdock fell into a sewer and mutated the inhabitants. Daredevil had a mentor called Stick and a group of ninjas called the Hand. The Turtles had Splinter and the Foot Clan. There's a little tie-in for you there. The main antagonist, the Shredder, was also initially created as a joke based on a particularly violent-looking cheese grater in Peter Laird's home. He was created as a bit of a red herring because he was actually killed off in the opening comic before being resurrected much, much, much later. The TV show aired in 1987, which was the golden age of cartoon deregulation in the USA, which allowed for more violence on screen and allowed for many cartoons to basically be adverts for toys, exploiting kids' parents as they beg for the latest toy in a line that evolved every few months. It got to the stage where toy company Playmates were designing toyetic toys and shoehorning them into cartoon with absolutely no sense at all. But it wasn't always good news. The UK censors were also dealing with video nasties at the era, were actually outraged by the violence, and this led to them featuring less weapons as the later series went on, and changing the name in the UK market, as Gav suggested, to the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Cowabunga a word that found new life in the 1980s thanks to the Ninja Turtles and Bart Simpson, was actually first used in 1940s The Howdy Doody Show. Chuck Lorre, the creator of The Big Bang Theory and Two and a Half Men, along with Dharma and Greg, created the theme song. A Shredder toy was actually supposed to be much taller than the Ninja Turtles, but he wouldn't fit into the package. So 80s kids will realize that's why they shrunk him down in a weird pose. And finally, Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo is a party dude.
All facts.
All
Everything
facts.
You said, spitting 100% truths. Everything you said.
I do spit truths and sometimes a little bit of food when I'm talking too fast. Well, that's enough facts. Let's explore our feelings. So what was your first exposure to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, DJ?
I honestly do not remember. I was born in 87.
Yeah.
So I was born the year the cartoon came out. I do not remember a time in my life where there was not Ninja Turtles. And also, I just want to say as well, yeah, obviously over here, it was Hero Turtles.
Yeah.
I briefly, in 1990, lived in Australia.
Right.
And brought back a videotape. Ninja Turtles all the way. It was like a golden bootleg of just Ninja Turtles cartoons that were had much more in them, and it was actually called Ninja Turtles, so it was fantastic. I think I ran that videotape out till it did not work anymore. But yeah, I've always the cartoons, the video games, the toys. I like literally toy boxes full, like multiple toy boxes full of God knows how many different variations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So you were too young to obviously realize this, but there was a massive shortage of Ninja Turtles toys when it first came out. So much so that I have a distinct memory, because I'm a little bit older than you, of waiting in the Toys R Us car park trying to get Bebop, Rocksteady, and Shredder. I'd already got the Ninja Turtles as counterfeits. Were all your toys legit, or were they counterfeits?
As far as I remember, all of my toys were legit.
What about you, Gav?
I had some dodgy, like Stalybridge pound shop Ninja Turtles for quite a while, but you couldn't get them. Like literally, the Michelangelo was the hardest turtle to get hold of. If you got a genuine Michelangelo for about the first 2 years, you were lucky, because he was just sold out everywhere.
Yeah. I think like I remember this having the whole set. Like the whole first wave, so all four Turtles, Bebop, Rocksteady, Shredder, and April. And
the Foot Soldier as well?
But they had the Foot Soldier as well, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember always thinking, I should have more of these. And as a kid being like, why didn't me mum and dad buy me multiple Foot Soldiers? That seems really cheap of them.
That's what we did, obviously, as mates. We'd get together, we all had a Foot Soldier. So we had like 20 of them.
Have an army.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I didn't have any mates that were into it as much as I was. So everyone feels sorry for me for a second. So it's sounding like the thank you, Gav. It's sounding like the toys are what really pulled you into the universe, DJ. Why do you think that is?
As a kid, they were just, they were brightly coloured ninja toys. Toys that came with little weapons and that you could make them kick the shit out of each other in the best possible way. They were just, it was an accessible like toy that was always there, and there was always something you could, because of how many there are, there's always something you can do with them. Even if you only have two. Say again, Gav.
They didn't break like a lot of the other ones. Like,
as well, they were sturdy as hell. Like you could pop the arms off them and pop them back on with no issues. Like they were good toys, good quality toys.
I think the flip side of it though was that they were always posed in really amazing poses. Made them difficult to stand up, and if you moved an arm a certain direction or a face in a certain direction, sometimes they'd just look a bit wrong. That's the only thing, really. They weren't very posable, were they?
I was going to say what you said about the Shredder one. My God, the legs on it. Yeah. There is literally no way to make that figure naturally stand up because its legs are bent, like at the knee. but locked in a weird. It's so weird. It was the worst figure. Also, why is he not wearing a top?
I was going to say the same thing.
Because he was never topless in the car. I get maybe that you've changed. There's a color palette change. Like honestly, what was going on with that figure?
He also looked like a bit like a sexual predator if you think about it. The way he was sort of creeping in. There's some very weird things going on.
And his massive eyebrows built into his helmet. What? Like,
yeah.
I think they did it as he got up in the morning, only put his pants on, went for a shit, and he didn't have a top on. There you go.
That doesn't correlate to me. Why would you surely no pants? But hey, never mind. What do you expect of a guy that was based off a cheese grater at the end of the day?
No, but come on, they did him dirty with that action figure.
They did.
A blue helmet, no top, and a cape. Who wears no top and a cape? That is not
Roy Ryan. Roy Ryan. I've seen him do that.
Yeah, all right. But Shredder's not built like Troy Ryan.
That's true. And I've seen Troy Ryan stand up.
Yeah.
Yes, Kevin Nash.
Can stand up on his own.
Yes. I've seen it. So did you have a particular favourite action figure? I'm not going to ask you about your favourite turtle yet. We'll build to that. But did you have a favourite action figure?
You know what? I have. And if you will bear with me 1 second, I have a re-release version of it on the shelf, still boxed. So give me 2 seconds and I'll grab it.
I'm going to play some mood music whilst we wait. Heroes in a half shell, they're the heroes for. And this day and age, who could ask for more? Crime wave was high, with muggins mysterious. All police and detectives are furious because they can't find the source of this lethally evil force. This is serious, so give me a quarter. I was a witness. Get me a reporter called April O'Neil in on this case, and you better hurry up. There's no time to waste. We need help. Here he is.
I love that song so much. I should not love that song, but it is a bop. I don't care what anyone says. Right, so I said I'd bring one. I've actually brought three because. Right, so speaking of Shredder, there's this one. It is the re-release of the Super Shredder from the second movie. So this is also technically a Kevin Nash action figure. Just want to put that out there. And
it is, but he was Master Blaster back then, so is it a Master Blaster?
It's technically a Master Blaster figure then.
Excellent.
But either way, I loved this figure as a kid because it was obviously such a more accurate version of Shredder.
Yes.
So this became my favorite. I even had this in a micro figure, like the Mighty Max figures.
Cool.
I had a load of different. They were called the Micro Turtles. And I had these.
Was it like a Polly Pocket thing?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sewer, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was when they came out. They were my all-time favorite toys because I loved Mighty Max, and then obviously it was Turtles, Mighty Max, boom together, incredible. So I even had the tiny version of this in those, and it was my absolute favorite. And then last year for Christmas, my wife found this and bought it for me. So,
right,
brownie points for the wife on that one.
Yeah.
There is this. This is obviously one of the Reaction 7-inch ones. It's not one of the proper versions of it, but it's the Spacesuit Raphael.
Yeah.
And I just have very distinct memories of that action figure as a kid. So when I saw this, I was like, "I'll go great in the collection."
He was a bit more hench, wasn't he? The old school action figure. Yeah.
The actual action figures were proper size, like with the big ones. And then this one is not. This one's off the cartoons rather than off the actual action figures, but absolutely beautiful Casey Jones.
Fantastic.
And if I had remembered, I'd have my movie accurate Casey Jones mask with me right now, but it is upstairs and I'm not running up there to get it.
Did it upset you that movie Casey Jones, Elias Koteas, didn't speak like Clint Eastwood? Is it just me that annoyed?
Casey Jones from the original movie, it's impossible to top. He was fantastic.
He was really, really great, and the dynamic with Raphael was absolutely fantastic in that film.
It is. It's unmatched in any other version of it. They've tried. They've tried to have that dynamic between the two of them, but it does not work as well as it does in the movies.
Yeah, I mean, the movies. They were sort of a hybrid between the comic and the cartoon, weren't they, really? Yeah. So there were some things they did particularly well, some things that they didn't. I want to just finish up on the action figures real quick. Was there an action figure that you absolutely loved, but then when you saw that character in the cartoon, you didn't like it, or vice versa? Was there a character and a figure that just weren't compatible to you?
I think maybe it was because I had the figure and used it and played with it so much. It was the bat one. Oh, I remember his freaking name now. Oh my god, I'm the Turtles fan. But it was the Batwing character.
Yeah.
And I remember having that one, and then it just not. And then every time he showed up in the show, we'd just be like, "Oh, he's awful."
Nothing. No, I'm with you. It always annoyed me that Krang came with his little walker rather than the bodysuit.
It irked me for years that I never had the actual Krang bodysuit figure.
Same.
It always bugged me. I was like, why? What he's literally just a bit. Just make a big figure. You can do this. You now make Power Rangers, for Christ's sake.
Well, but if they'd have made a Krang body figure, do you reckon he'd been all contorted like Shredder and with no top?
Oh, they've done it as play set. They've done it as a full-on like mini play set thing where you put him in.
I think that's why they just went with the walker, the little walker chair, because they were just like, do you know what? It's too expensive to just make a proper suit that he fits into.
Did you have a favourite? Go on, sorry.
A favourite turtle?
No. We'll come back to that. Oh god, okay. Those big questions we'll stick for later. What is your favourite playset / mobile / blimp or whatever? Because there was a few good ones.
Foot soldier motorbike that turned into like a hover jet.
Yes, I remember
that. I remember being like, "This is so cool. This is going to have to be the thing that Raph kicks someone off every time and steals." Like, he doesn't just keep it. Like, he should have. No, he's going to beat up a foot soldier and steal a new one each time. But that one, and then probably, like I say, the micro playsets. I had a micro playset of Tokar. And
explain who Tokar is for anyone that doesn't know, because
for anyone who doesn't know, Tokar is the mutant snapping turtle that Shredder has made by TGRI in the second Turtles movie, Secret of the Ooze.
Because that might be a bit of a knowledge gap, because a lot of people didn't watch the second one because word got out that it was quite bad, but I quite enjoyed it.
Right. The second one is... They knew what they were going for with the second one. They knew that their audience had to be more towards children because that's what was selling. And that's why you don't see them use the weapons in the second one, which I think is a big no-no. You can't do a Turtles movie and not have them use the weapons. But it has its good moments. Super Shredder is awesome.
Yeah.
I wish we'd have actually seen a fight rather than just a peer fall on him.
He had to. Well, first of all, it was peer pressure from the studio. Secondly, they had to defeat themselves. They couldn't be defeated by the Ninja Turtles because of the violence thing.
Yeah,
that's the sort of main thing behind it. But also, you had to have like 13 minutes of go Ninja, go Ninja, go. That was just a given.
Okay, look. Vanilla Ice may be guilty of many things, but that is a fucking good scene, and that is a pretty decent tune.
All right, stop. That's another Vanilla Ice thing.
Collaborate and listen to what I'm saying here, Steve. It's not a bad song. As far as 90s Turtles rap related songs go, it's probably the second best one.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely the second best. Yeah, Masters of Crime was by far the better of the two.
Of course it is.
Yeah. So again, very, very basically just going back to the action figure thing. I'm curious as to Gav whether you had the blimp or the pizza thrower
My
or
mate
the
had the Terradrome. Was it the
yes,
big-eyed thing?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I didn't have it, but my mate did.
Technodrome, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. I used to love that. I used to try and nick it all the time, but yeah, that was my favourite.
Do you know what? I don't know if this is the I don't know if it's a flurry of autism or something, but the fact that it was so much smaller than how it should be always used to irk me, and it used to irk me something fierce. I was irked.
That's how I feel now. Like I felt the exact same way, and I remember it like triggered the memory of the Technodrome when I saw a recent Lego Death Star.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, that's tiny, like the Technodrome was. This is giving me childhood angst.
I rolled on the floor for several minutes afterwards. I was the same with we're talking about Star Wars. I was the same with the Millennium Falcon as well. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is fine." Yeah. Size matters, toy makers. Size matters. However, I am still upset that I never got the GI Joe big massive plane platform thingy.
My mate had
Anyway,
that.
Of course he did. Your mate was awesome, and I was lame. Okay, we understand that.
I think Gav's blagging. This sounds like one of those mates that like you make up who's done all these cool things that you have. Like, oh yeah, I've got a mate who's been to Egypt and like he like slid down the pyramid on a snowboard. You that kind of shit.
I think kind of got the expensive stuff. I never had all the Transformers because that was the stuff I got. I had all the big Transformers, so they were expensive. I think.
A mate living in Egypt. Come on, you're in denial. Anyway, let's move on to the cartoon. Let's move on to the cartoon. Are there because I feel this about the cartoon, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I struggle to remember individual episodes because I saw little sparks of imagination in the cartoon and then just played my own adventures out of all the toys. But do you have any specific stories or story arcs or individual episodes that you really enjoyed, DJ?
One of my favourite ones is the one when a bunch of bank robbers dress up as the Turtles.
Oh yes,
and go around robbing everyone, and then it's everywhere they turn up, everyone starts kicking off at them and giving them grief. And I remember looking back at that now, thinking to myself, why weren't people just kicking off and giving them grief anyway? They weren't. It's not like they were like publicly known.
Well, I mean, 2 points on this. The first point is it's also harkens back to Marvel again because in many ways it's a bit like Spider-Man that the boss of Channel 6 News sort of was like the J. Jonah Jameson that he hated the Turtles and all this jazz. But if you remember that plot, it was that there was a karate club, like almost like Cobra Kai type thing, that Shredder sort of influences. So all these are supposed to be kids, I think, but they didn't look like kids, did they?
Well, yeah, no, they didn't. Like they all the guys who were doing the robbing looked like middle-aged men, but then obviously like it's supposed to be a bunch of teenagers who were being trained. Because as you say, yeah, Shredder's sent one of his like lieutenants to take over the dojo kind of thing.
Exactly.
But it's just, yeah.
I can only suspend disbelief so much. Ninja Turtles, fine. 40-year-old kids, not down for it. Was there a particularly influential character that you saw in the cartoon that you thought, oh, this guy is just boss?
Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Casey Jones all the way. Literally turned up to a job interview in a suit, a tie, his mask, his gloves, and his bag with his weapons on his shoulder, and he got the job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the man. in all ways. But yeah, Casey Jones, whenever he showed up in the cartoon, he was just cool. And it was the fact that they never took the mask off him in the original cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know what, like, obviously, like in the reboots and stuff, they always did it. Like, but in the original cartoon, he never took the mask off. You never saw his face, and I loved that about him. I thought that was fantastic. And whenever he showed up, it always felt like, oh, something big's coming because Casey Jones has showed up to help.
He's also one of the few non-mutant characters as well, which I think is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he kicks ass out of everyone as well. So with him just being
Sure
a normal
does.
dude. So
Just going straight. Sorry, this just popped into my head. Going back to the toys real quick. Do you remember that April O'Neil had a gun?
Yeah. It
was ridiculous,
it was a
wasn't it?
camera. So she had the pistol that fit into the camera,
Yeah.
and then you could literally like you pulled the camera off and she had a pistol, and it was like, I don't remember ever seeing anything like that in the cartoon. That's
I think it was all in the
fucking shit. That
it was all in the subtext, DJ. Afterwards, it's like, where are all these villains gone? And you just see bullet holes everywhere. Don't worry, we took them to the jail.
20-foot soldiers. We just fought the 4 of them 1-on-1. What happened to the other 16? There's April over there with an AK-47. I have no idea what you're talking about, guys.
Lock and awe. Lock and awe. So, as far as villains are concerned, obviously everyone's going to say Krang, everyone's going to say Shredder, everyone's going to say Bebop and Rocksteady. Other than those core 4, what villains did you really, really like?
Rat King.
Oh, Rat King, love it.
Loved Rat King. The Frogs.
Yeah.
Like the original 4. Like, I know obviously since then they've done them as like bigger groups and they've made them look different, but the original 4, like that was another episode I would say is another one of my favourites when like the whole origin of the battle frogs, and then like Shredder giving them all the names and giving them all the weapons and stuff, basically doing the whole Splinter shtick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they were fantastic. Like Rat King, Baxter Stockman.
Baxter was my favourite.
Like always, constantly a great villain.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
I think as well. I think the reason why some of the villains stand out so much is because it's like every other episode, it's just Bebop, Rocksteady, and Shredder. So you get a little bit of fatigue with those 3. So it's always nice when you get like another big character brought in.
See, I never saw the cat burglar one either in the cartoon. I remember the figure.
The one that ends up fancying Leonardo. Or have I made that up?
No idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she fancies.
I've never seen an episode with him in.
Unless this is some sort of Freudian thing, I'm pretty sure that that she fancies Leonardo and then turns good at the end and then says, "No, I must leave," and does.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember it going down like that as well.
Because the figure was quite a rare one. I know a lot of people were like aftermarket stupid money for that one.
Well, it's a popular figure. There wasn't many female figures in the range, to be quite honest with you.
No, there wasn't.
No, but it was very much a boy toy.
Yeah, there was a couple of variations of April.
Yeah.
Like the Cat Burglar one, and then I genuinely can't remember. Oh, Mona Lisa.
Remind me who Mona Lisa was.
She was one of the lizard mutants.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I get really, really confused with some of the names sometimes. Because all the frogs had like Napoleon Bonaparte and all that lot, weren't they? It was all weird names.
Genghis, and I can't remember what the last one was. The fact that it wasn't Hitler still shocks me.
So were the battle frogs actually? Did they become battle toads, and that's where they spawned from?
No. They're 2 different IPs.
I wasn't entirely sure, to be honest.
Did you just say that's where they spawned from?
He did.
And that wasn't meant to be a pun
That's
either.
incredible.
Catching on, Steve, without you even knowing.
Well played, sir. Well played. Right. So we've talked about those. It's time for the question that we've been waiting for. Really, and it's in 3 parts of this. What was your favourite turtle then? What was your favourite turtle in the video games to play as? And what is your favourite turtle now?
Ooh. Right. So, favourite turtle as a kid growing up, Raphael.
Okay.
He was a badass. He was angry. He had his own story arc in the movie. He in a lot of ways, he's portrayed as a main character. I think he was just more like you wanted to go on that journey with them, kind of thing. Whereas the rest of them, I don't know, just never saw. I love all the characters, but never saw them as much appeal as you do in Raph.
I get that. That's the edgy kids answer. I think in a lot of ways. Nobody ever thinks Leo, do they? Because Leo is like the Scott Summers of the Ninja Turtles.
Leo and Cyclops would get on so well.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Okay, so that was then, I'm guessing. Yep. So what about playing on the video games?
Do you know what, Leonardo?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Raph's always, you've got to get closer with Raph.
Got to get close. Yeah.
And it's always more dangerous. Whereas with Leo, you've got reach. So in the video games, it's always I always find it easier to run through one of those games with Leo.
And final question: Who is your favorite now? I'm going to guess it's Raph.
If we're picking out the four, it's Raph. If you want me to be a dick,
I do.
It's currently, because I've not long finished reading the first book, it's The Last Ronin.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the last Ronin. A lot of people aren't going to know what this is, so please explain.
Yeah, so The Last Ronin is a comic book that's come out over the last, I think it was maybe even 10 years ago now, but it's
probably
still quite recent. Set in the future of the Turtles world, where 3 of the 4 Turtles have passed away. Splinter has passed away. New York is now run by Shredder's grandson. And the story starts with the last remaining Turtle on his own, carrying all 4 of the weapons. He's older, he's stronger. As you'll find as you go through the book, he's not only has he grown just like in general, he's grown more abilities as they've gotten older. The mutagens taking more effect, and it's changed them. It's a fantastic look at a future, like a dystopian future for the Turtles fans. Mm-hmm. And I think even if you've never read like any of the books or stuff like that, you can still pick up The Last Ronin and go, like as a fan, someone who grew up with it as a kid, you can read that as an adult, and it will draw you in. It's a fantastic read. It really is.
It's very similar to the style and the general vibe of The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller, in the sense that you can also read that as a standalone piece. And they have been trying to make a film version of this with the original actress who played April O'Neil returning, but I think that's sort of fallen flat now. Am I right?
Well, what happened originally was we had a video game announced, and then it got scrapped because they wanted to make an R-rated movie instead.
Yeah.
And then they decided that they were going to go the other way and make another more family-friendly Turtles movie, because obviously that's what sells. Plus, you've then still got 4 Turtles to sell from. They said that it wasn't the best idea to try and release this, and obviously the fans went mad in a bad way. Everyone was devastated, and then just recently they've re-announced that the video game is coming back, and that we are going to get. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, we are going to get a video game version of The Last Ronin. It's made by the same team who made Bayonetta, so
okay,
we know we'll at least have some good fighting systems.
It looks interesting. You sent me the trailer, didn't you, a while ago?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the trailer gives absolutely nothing away. It is just a teaser, but it's gonna look like it's gonna be very, very interesting. It should be a fun. Like if it's an open world, like in the same vein as like an Assassin's Creed, Batman, Arkham. If it's in that kind of like in that vein, I think it would be a fantastic addition, like what are some fantastic video games, because the Turtles games, like there's a lot of really good Turtles video games out there.
So yeah, you set me up right for that one. So what are your favorite Turtles games? First of all, what did you enjoy playing most as a kid? What has the longevity have you gone back to?
As a kid, Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
All the way, Turtles in Time. Like all the side-scrolling action Turtles games are fantastic. Like they are just fun to play. And like for me as well now as an adult, I'm like I will force my kids to sit down and play them with me, and they're the games that I don't have to force them as much. They love like I've got a little lad, and he's Turtles mad now as well because obviously they've got their this their own generation. This is I'm getting off topic, but this is something I thought was quite funny. My little brother's 10 years younger than me, and he has his own version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
from like when they rebooted it in 2003, and then my brother, who's maybe 6-7 years younger than him, he's got his own version of the Turtles from like the 2012 ones when they had like the CGI animated one. Yeah. And it's something like we all bond over, like whenever they're out to film, like me and my brothers, we always get together to go and see the films and stuff like that. And it's great that even now, like my little lad has got his own version of Turtles. And it's great that it's something that everyone can bond over, but it's also something that's personal. Like everyone's got their own personal version of it.
Honestly, you've set me up for that as well, because one of the questions that I was going to sort of draw to a close on was, what do you think makes the Turtles have such longevity? Because with everything that we have in the nostalgia, like you have Batman coming back every few years, you have Spider-Man having a bit of a soiree and then coming back. Turtles have pretty much been constant in one form or another, and there hasn't really been anything like that, because it has had, as soon as one production has ended, another production has started. But like you say, it's generational for your family, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's just it's one of those things that it will always exist in some way, shape, or form. In the same way, like you say, like Spider-Man, Batman, because it has its roots in comics, it will always have life. There will always be some variation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles existing. So there'll always be a way. And plus, like I say, it's a generational thing. My son wouldn't have watched Turtles unless I'd have sat down and gone, "Hey, we need to watch this because this is something I watched when I was. So you need to watch it." And and that's why he sat down and watched it, and he loves it.
I did.
Isn't that like wrestling?
Exactly the same. Yeah, just the same as wrestling.
Say that I've sat my lad down to watch wrestling so much. He's like, "Dad, I'm really bored with this." And then out of nowhere, I'm watching wrestling, and he comes out and goes, "Did he just say ambulance match?" And apparently that drags him in. There's an ambulance involved in the wrestling. He's all about it. I've been like, oh, maybe he wants to watch I've showed him Hell in a Cells. I've showed him chamber matches. I've showed him what I've not asked. But an ambulance match? He's like, what? You got to put him in the back of the ambulance? That's incredible. That's game-changing wrestling. That I'm in.
Some people like George Hackenschmidt. Some people like Danhausen. There's a lot of different things in wrestling.
That is the beauty of the sport we are all involved in.
So let's talk about putting people in an ambulance using weapons. Are you aware of the weapons theory? And if so, talk us through that.
The weapons theory?
Oh, good. I can inform. I love informing. So the weapons theory is that Splinter gives the exact opposite weapon to the Ninja Turtles. So with Leonardo, he's the calmest one, but he's got deadly weapons. He can attack and slash. Yeah. You've got Raphael, who is the opposite of that, and he wants to just keep going at people, but he has to get very close to use his weapons. You've got Michelangelo.
160. I have actually heard the theory. Yeah, you're right.
Carry on.
Raphael, because the size are more used for defense than they are for offense. That's also part of why Raph was given it, because of his temper. He's given a weapon that is used mainly for defense rather than for attacking, to keep him calmer. Can I do the next two?
Please do.
Actually, I'll do Donatello, then you can do Michelangelo.
I don't want to do Michelangelo. He's a party dude.
Okay.
We'll see if Gav can work that Michelangelo out. We'll put him on the spot, make him cringe.
Okay. Donatello is obviously given a bow staff, because a bow staff is the simplest of weapons available in their arsenal.
Yeah.
Donatello is so technology driven and so science driven that Splinter gave him the bow staff so that he could still master the art of simplicity and creativity. He has to use the bow in ways that that you wouldn't normally use it.
Exactly that.
And then Michelangelo, I can do it if you want.
I know it.
No, go on, Gav. Go on, tell us.
Gotta be, because he's the one that's stupidest, it's the hardest one to master.
In a roundabout way.
Not because he's the stupidest, because he's actually not stupid. It's because he
doesn't concentrate.
Because he is basically the ADHD turtle.
Yeah.
Right? He is given nunchucks because nunchucks are all about concentration.
Yeah.
If you're not concentrating when you're using nunchucks, you'll hurt yourself before you hurt anyone else. So he is given the one weapon that you need concentration with the most, because concentration is the one thing that he lacks. Exactly. There you go.
That. Nailed it. Right, okay. So what we like to do towards the end of these shows is we like to do some sort of a quiz. So I'm going to do that with you now. So there were blatant sort of rip-offs of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I want you to keep that in mind. So we all know Bebop and Rocksteady, and they're a famous double act. I'm going to give you some names of characters, and I want you to tell me who they are, what their gimmick was, and if they were in the Ninja Turtles. If not, what were they in? Are you ready?
Oh, this is going to go awful, but go on.
Well, there's a reason I didn't say something earlier. Wingnut and Screw Loose.
Wingnut was the back character.
He was.
And obviously he was in Turtles. Screw Loose. See, Screw Loose sounds like something from Masters of the Universe.
I will say these pairs they are connected, so they're like a double act. Yeah. So he was also in Ninja Turtles, so I'll give you that. He was like an alien insectozoid that liked to brainwash people. Yeah. Okay, number 2, Lobster and Slash.
Slash is the evil Ninja Turtle from the cartoons and toys.
There is an evil turtle called Slash. Is this the one I'm talking about? Because I said Slobster and Slash.
Slobster and Slash.
So bear in mind, these are double acts.
That sounds really familiar. Are they from Biker Mice from Mars?
They are from Street Shark.
Oh!
So it's a mutant lobster with the DNA of Genghis Khan and Thomas Blood, and then a swordfish with a drill bit for a head.
How do I not remember this?
Number 3, Jerry and Bad Bird.
Say the first one again.
Jerry, Jerry, Patrick, Attrick, and Bad Bird. Like Bad Bunny, what a bird.
Oh my god, no. That one?
I have no idea.
No.
That's okay. So you're saying it's not in the Ninja Turtles?
I'm saying it is. I'm going to say it is.
Gav's saying it is.
I mean, it sounds like it definitely could be, but no, I am drawing a massive blank.
I'll let you in on a little secret. They all sound like they're going to be in it. That's why I picked them. Yeah. So I'll just tell you with this one. So geriatric and Bad Bird, a paranoid bird-like advisor, and his super serious purple armored partner from Samurai Pizza Cat.
Oh my!
Jesus Christ!
This is all stuff. And I'm like, oh, I watched that loads when I was a kid. Yeah.
I thought you would. I mentioned it.
It's crazy. Have you seen that's coming back as a video game?
No, well, I love it.
Samurai Pizza Cats. It looks like it's going to be side-scrolling beat 'em up as well. So I'm all for it.
Number 4, Muckman and Joe Eyeball.
Muckman and Joe Eyeball are definitely recognised, but I don't think they're from the Turtles.
What do you reckon, Gav?
Yeah, they're going to be.
They're going to be from the Turtles.
Yeah.
You are correct. A sewer worker turned into a melted trash monster and his tiny, gross sidekick.
I'm not having this. I think you're just making all this up now.
I promise you I am not making it up. I will send you the deets later. Number 5. Possibly the easiest one.
With Sam Rockwell.
Ground Chuck and Dirtbag.
Yeah, Ground Chuck is a mole. And... oh, my God. Yeah, because Ground Chuck has the helmet. But I can't remember what Dirtbag is. But yeah, they are both from the Ninja Turtles.
Ground Chuck was actually a cyborg bull, but you're right about Dirtbag. He has a little miner's helmet, a young person's helmet, like for mining. The final one, the Duke of Hazzard.
The Duke of Hazzard.
The Duke of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard.
As in Darren Droznoff. Puke.
Nah. No, I know where they're from. I know what they're from.
What they're from, Gav?
They are the biker mice from Mars.
The biker mice from Mars.
Well, the bad guys, whatever.
Yes, they are not, in fact, the biker mice from Mars, but they are from the show The Biker Mice from Mars, a story of biker mice hailing from Mars. Right, well, on that bombshell, I think you did all right there. I think that was a fairly even split. You might not have known exactly what, but you sort of generally knew they either were or weren't in the Ninja Turtles.
About a cartoon that came out the year I was born, guys. It's not something I'm watching constantly to this day. I'm nearly 40, for Christ's sake.
Honestly, it's your topic.
I know. I'm just more embarrassed of myself than anything else. I feel like I've let myself down. I feel like I've let my brothers down. I feel like I've let the Turtles down. And, that's...
Don't forget your son as well.
And my son, apparently, yeah. I've let him down.
That's a bit harsh.
I'm just a generational disappointment.
Well, where can we find this generational disappointments on social media?
Oh, you can find me on all the socials. It's normally at DJ King 1268, which is just my birth date. On X, on Instagram. You can also follow Infamous on X, on Instagram. Oh, I'm on TikTok. Oh, no way, I'm on TikTok, yeah. Because it's 2026, isn't it? So, you can also find me on TikTok.
Excellent.
I'm all over the place.
You are all over the place. One thing that I will just say real briefly, if people who are listening to this want to Google some of the weird Ninja Turtle gimmicks that came out in the late 80s, early 90s in professional wrestling, check out USWA. They had multiple Ninja Turtles. The Toxic Turtles appeared in WWF. One of those fellows was Gilbert, Dwayne Gill. So, worth a Google. And obviously, thank you for joining us today, DJ. If you are involved in the wrestling space and you want to be on this Primetime Pastime show sharing about your passions, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you everyone for your time. Have a good evening, have a good day, have a good morning, whatever time you're listening to this. Bye.
Bye.
Go buy tickets for the 4th of July!